There are two Murlis today, and the first Murli is titled, the theme is Nothing New, and second Murli, the theme is Balance of Connection and Correction. And these concepts have been, brought out in earlier Murlis too, but today the special focus is on these concepts, like nothing new. It's basically the absence of any question: why, what, when, how. Let me just share the. Good morning. Is the screen visible?
Yes, Mumbai, it's visible.
Okay. So this is the first Murli, which we can see, 7th February 1976. This Avyakt Murli is titled The Stage of Nothing New and the Completion of the Account of Wastage. So nothing new is basically, the uh, no worries about why, what, or how. So be free from these questions, which actually start the worries. So Baba says, put a full stop to such questions, and how to put this full stop, how to be in that nothing new stage, and what are the advantages of this stage are covered amply and beautifully by the supreme authority in this Murli. So let's uh, start the Murli session. uh, the stage of nothing new and the completion of the account of wastage. So let's all be seated on the seat of the incorporeal stage, in the incorporeal form, experiencing the incorporeal energy from the supreme authority. What would be the spatial sign of the great stage of the Maharathis, which indicates the efforts of Maharathis? Firstly, great effort makers, that is, Maharathis, on seeing any scene, would consider it to be a scene that has been enacted many times according to the drama plan and is simply now being repeated. They would feel it to be nothing new. They would not experience it to be anything new, due to which questions of why or what, etc., would arise. Secondly, they would be embodiments of awareness, underline awareness, and experience every scene as though it is a scene they have seen many times, and that they are simply repeating it just for the sake of it. It is as though they are not doing anything new but are simply repeating everything. They do not have to bring into their awareness that whatever happened a cycle ago is happening now. However, just as whatever happened a second ago is very clearly in their awareness, in the same way, please pay attention, in the same way, the scene that took place a cycle ago would be just as clearly in their awareness. Let's take a pause here and reflect upon the scene that took place a cycle ago would be just as clearly in the awareness. Let's reflect on that for a second. Meanwhile, Amiman, as a host, should I I have to admit all, or like they will everyone or every participant will be able to join on their own. Om Shanti, Amiben.
Brother, they can join on their own.
Okay, okay, okay. So let me, because the screen was coming as like permission to admit. So in between it is coming. So maybe one of you can, Sakshiban, you can take the role of being host.
Okay, brother.
Okay. Om Shanti. So having reflected on the this powerful aspect, that whatever has happened a cycle ago is very clear in my awareness now. So, however, just as whatever happened a second ago is very clearly in their awareness, in the same way, the scene that took place a cycle ago would be just as clearly in their awareness. Because of being Maharathis and having the stages of firstly being detached observers, and secondly being Trikaldarshi. Two concepts. First is having the stage of detached observers, and second being Trikaldarshi. The awareness of the previous cycle would be completely fresh in their awareness. This is why they experience everything to be nothing new. What else would there be? Powerful concept Baba just elaborated. No matter how fearsome a particular situation may be, or how great a problem something may be, because they have an elevated stage, that situation would seem to be something very minor. It would not be felt to be anything big or fearsome. When you are standing high up on a mountain and looking down at something, even something large is seen as a minute or very small. Even the biggest factory would seem like a small model or like a matchbox. In the same way, the Maharathis do not experience anything in their great efforts to be that large. So, these are the two signs of the great efforts of the Maharathis, two signs of the great efforts of the Mahavirs, that is the Maharathis, which in other words can be referred to as those who experience a crucifix as a thorn. बाबा कहते हैं सूली का कांटा, शूली का शूली भी कांटा बन जाता है. From the lips of such Mahavir souls, only the words of that which is destined to happen will emerge. This is also fixed. This is known as being an embodiment of success. Whatever words emerge and whatever deeds they perform would be ones that bring success and not be wasteful. The sign of Maharathis is that not only are their accounts of sin finished, but even their accounts of wastage are finished. So, Baba is speaking about two types of accounts here, not only the accounts of sin, but also the accounts of wastages. Wastes are finished. You are master almighty authorities, are you not? The practical sorry, the practical form of the stage of a master almighty authority is that together with the account of sin being finished, the account of wastages is also finished. This is the sign of the effort of the Maharathis. Have you started the service of taking souls beyond with just a glance? Just pause here for a second and visualize yourself. Let's visualize ourselves giving a drishti to those around us, either in direct connection or they could also be distantly located. And just see, visualize it. One are the great donors, Mahadani. Second are the bestowers of blessings, Vardani. And the third are world benefactors, Vishwa Kalyani. Does each of you have all these three specialties? Or is it that some have one specialty while others have another specialty? Some are worshipped in the form of a bestower of blessings, and the others are worshipped in the form of a world benefactor. Why is there a difference in the praise and the worship? They would have all three specialties, but there would be a difference in the percentage. Some would have a greater percent of one specialty, whereas someone else would have a lesser percentage of a particular specialty. One is the philosophy of karma, and second is the philosophy of reward. So Baba is talking about two philosophies, karma and reward. And third philosophy is praise and worship. Just as the philosophy of karma is very deep, in the same way the philosophy of the other two is just as deep. You are to have a vision of your reward in a practical form now. So, how to use these three philosophies, Baba is elaborating. Have a vision of your reward in a practical form now. Are you not? Who will become what and why, and on what basis will all become clear. Their deeds, service, activities, stage, connections, and relations will automatically become such that even against your conscious wish or thought, you would understand what they are going to become. Their activities, that is, their deeds, would become the mirror. A clear vision of each one would be seen through the mirror of their deeds. Acha, that brings us to the end of the first Murli and the beginning of the second Murli, which is titled Wonder Through the Balance of Connection and Correction. This Murli is dated 8th February 1976. So let's all be seated again on the stage of incorporeal stage, in the incorporeal form, receiving the powers from the incorporeal Supreme Father, Supreme Almighty Authority. Teachers should pay special attention to two aspects. What are the two aspects? Firstly, that you have a connection with Madhuban, the Father, and the Divine Family, according to the code of conduct. So, firstly, it's the connection with the Madhuban, the Father, and the Divine Family. A connection according to the code of conduct is that whatever thought you have or action you perform or the deeds you perform, you should have the practice of having it corrected at every moment. So, connection comes with a correction. The two things are firstly, to have an accurate connection, and secondly, to pay attention to correcting yourself at every moment. If one of these two aspects is missing, that means the accurate connection and correction every moment, you will not be able to become an embodiment of success. In order to correct yourself, you need to have a constant stage of detachment. So, correction requires constant stage of detachment. If you do not give correction as a detached observer, you will not be able to have an accurate connection. So, both are interrelated. Therefore, check whether you are constantly correcting yourself in every aspect at every moment. So every moment and every aspect. One is the connection of the intellect, which you call the pilgrimage of remembrance. The other is performing actions in the corporeal world while in connection with your corporeal family. Both connections should be accurate. Is your connection in the corporeal form according to the code of conduct? Within the spiritual family, if instead of having a soul conscious connection, you have a connection based on body consciousness, then that is not an accurate connection. Those who know how to correct and connect maintain constant spiritual intoxication. So, spiritual intoxication will emerge when there is a accurate balance between correction and connection. They have a balance of being loving and detached. In other words, balance of being loving and detached, Nyara and Pyarapan. Look at a circus. A balancing act has become such a wonderful method of earning an income. In circus, balancing act becomes a wonderful method of earning an income for those actors. They show balance as a wonder or as an art. So here too Baba says balance is an art. When there is balance, there will be a wonder and also an income. If there is even a little more or little bit less, then neither would it be a wonder, nor an art, nor an income. When you are cooking something, if there is not the right amount of everything, then no matter how beautiful the dish may appear, it would not taste delicious. So, again, Baba is comparing with another example of the cooking a dish. In order to make your life elevated and successful, keep the balance. That is, let there be equanimity. Secondly, you should be able to make your form powerful. Underline, make your form powerful according to the problems and the time. If the situation is one that you need to face, then become an embodiment of the power to face. So, whatever is the situation, accordingly the embodiment or accordingly the form, powerful form. If the situation is one that you need to tolerate, then become an embodiment of the power to tolerate. You should have such a practice. To be a teacher means to have balance. You should have the power to adopt any form according to the time. What would you call it if where love is needed, you adopt power, and where power is needed, you have love? So it means you do not have the power to adopt the right form according to the time. So underline the word right form according to the time. In that case, there is no result of service, nor is there any success. In order to become a number one teacher, in order to become a number one teacher, first of all, imbibe that thing yourself and then tell others to do it. That's very important. It should not be that you don't do something and yet you keep telling others to do it. Before you give a direction to others, check whether that has been instilled into yourself. If you tell others to be tolerant and you are not tolerant, you cannot be called a teacher. A teacher means a teacher who gives teachings. If you yourself are not an embodiment of those teachings, you cannot be an accurate teacher. So constantly remember the slogan: a teacher means an embodiment of the teachings and one who maintains balance. The embodiment of the teachings and one who maintains balance between connection and correction. You now have to become a teacher of quality. Your vision should not be on the quantity. So, teacher of quality. Your vision should not be on the quantity. Quality can become instrumental for everyone's benefit. So, quality brings benefit to everyone, not the quantity. You don't now have to increase the quantity of teachers, but their quality. Do you understand? So that brings us to the end of the second Murli. Now, let's take a pause for a minute, a moment to reflect upon the key teachings, the key takeaways from both the Murlis, and then we can share. Om Shanti. So, Om Shanti. That brings us the session to the churning or sharing each one's reflection phase. So I would request all members of the Divine Family to share their reflections now. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Yeah,
Om
Bijit.
Shanti.
Shanti.
So I mean, both the Murlis are good. Second Murli, so there Baba says to maintain a balance of connection and correction. So, so Baba says two things. First is accurate connection, and second is we need to have the attention of correcting. Always we need to correct. So when we have this balance, right, that's when we'll be able to maintain that constant spiritual intoxication. That's what Baba says here. Baba uh, very good example also given in circus. So when they balance, right, so it becomes a good show for us. So similarly, teachers, not only teachers, but I think everyone will have to maintain that balance. Madhuban, father, divine family, that balance. Everything should go accurately balanced. So yeah, so that's my touched point.
Beautiful, beautiful sharing. The Baba gave two examples. One is cooking, and the other one is which one is the other one?
Circus,
Yeah,
circus.
circus. So both starts from the word letter C. I think it's easy to remember. Circus and cooking. So and that becomes what the source of income. I said no, that source of income. So how beautifully
Yeah.
Baba is related. It's really beautiful. Baba is ultimate.
Right, right. Even while cooking, also balance is required. So
Yeah,
if any of
yeah,
item is put more, then that's going to spoil it. So equanimity is very important. So
absolutely, absolutely. Equanimity is that balance is nothing but equanimity. Uh, and one more reflection while you were sharing this reflection, one thought came to my mind is like in circus there is a source of income, whereas in cooking there's a duain, that blessings from whoever eats that the dish, the bhog.
right,
Then you take the get the lot of duain from those souls. If the dishes come out really delicious and has got lot of energy of love with that dish, isn't it? That's a
correct,
source.
correct, true, true, true. Yeah, very true.
So,
Because when the taste is good, then automatically they're going to feel good. So
yeah,
that will come in the form of a blessing. Those
yeah,
cooked it. Yeah. Thank you.
great, great sharing. So let's now also hear from others. Everyone, I would request everyone should share at least one point and in a very crisp manner, so that everyone should share. Actually, everyone should, and it's a yagya. It's a yagya. It's a sacrificial fire. Everyone, one reflection when all together, it becomes a great sharing. So I would request everyone. Girjaben, you can also share, and so that everyone should share. So you can share in a everyone should share with a very concise, crisp manner. One aspect which pick up one aspect and just share. Om Shanti. Girjaben, Sakshi Ben, Ami Ben, Pratibha Ben. So Baba has spoken about. I would just ask a few questions. Probably you all can respond to that as in the form of sharing.
Oh,
That, yeah, yeah. Please go ahead. Girjaben,
I actually shared the first Murli as you were reading because it
you
was
can
only
read out. You can
listing
read
about.
out the crux of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I know you were just listing, that's just listing the points of Amaharati. And I just found in that the main thing Baba spoke was only two stages, detached observer and Trikaldashi. If you see all the points of a Maharati tested only on these two, detached observer and Trikaldashi. And for that, what is the curriculum they have to know? They have to know the three philosophies. So that was more a listing Murli. But the second Murli was something different. Like Baba generally speaks of connection with one. But now here he is saying, as teachers, there should be connection with Madhuban, father, and family. And there should be attention on correction and accurate connection. But I was just thinking, and I wanted to ask you, doesn't correction break connection?
That's a very good question. Beautiful question, Girjaben. I would request any member from the Divine Family to reflect upon first.
I think when your connection is clear, and then only the correction happens, isn't it? Because when you are connected to Baba, and then you will look at yourself as a detached observer, and you would also look at yourself the way are you doing it according to Srimad and the way Baba want you to do it. And if you find that it's not happening in that way, then that's when you start correcting yourself. And that's how connection, first is connection, and then the correction comes into picture. I mean, my reflection.
Yeah, I think you have brought out a beautiful aspect that that both goes hand in hand. And actually, if you see in Lockic world, if we use these words, na, loving and detached, yet detached, both are 180-degree opposites. How in Lockic world, souls will think, how can we be loving and yet detached? Either will be detached or will be loving, but both cannot happen. But yesterday Murli also has brought out this aspect that both can happen simultaneously in the alaukic world, in the incorporeal stage when soul is powerful. And similarly, connection and correction both can happen simultaneously, because I think that's my I mean that's a perspective. Others may also share. It's Baba has today in today Murli also Baba said no, loving and yet detached. So that is basically connected with the supreme authority. The three things Baba told. Which are the three things? Anyone? Three aspects where we need to be connected. One is Madhuban,
Madhuban, yeah, father
Baba.
and the divine family.
Yeah, Madhuban, Baba, and Brahman Parivar. So all starts from the Madhuban starts from the Baba. Once Baba has created a Madhuban of comprising of the divine family. So when we are connected with these three, then we get the power to correct. No, then we get the power to correct observe as a detached observer our thoughts, words, and actions and deeds. And then that correction becomes a part of the process for further urti kala, for refinement. Every moment I am refining, and coming to that utmost quality which Baba is uh, envisioning us to be. So that's a Gijaben. Have you got? Yeah.
What I could get it connecting to today's Murli is, it
Yeah.
is not just correction. If correction is 99%, there should be at least 1% change. That's why Baba said, just don't teach. I mean, teach, first preach it on yourself,
Yeah.
bring
Yeah.
the change in
Yes.
yourself. So there was a class in this club, I don't remember when, self correction and supreme connection. That was the key word which really touched me. I think if I keep self correction and supreme connection, then correction cannot break connection.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very beautifully you brought out. Connection with the Supreme Soul is mandatory requirement so that the correction will not break the connection. Very nice. Others, please share other aspects. Who have not spoken, I would call upon them to also share. Baba told us so many good qualities about the teachers. What Baba wants, quality or quantity? And how is the quality decided? Om Shanti.
Uh,
Om Shanti, brother.
Thank
Today,
you.
Baba said, to be
Yeah.
a teacher means to have balance. You should have the power to adopt any form according to time. In order to become number
Yeah.
one teacher, first of all, imbibe the things yourself and then tell to others to it. First, you do it and tell others to do it. Second one, a teacher means a teacher who gives teaching. They should be embodiment of teaching. Otherwise, not accurate teaching.
Beautiful, sister. Thank you for bringing out these two aspects. And I myself have seen in the whole day routines. I mean, during the office time, suppose you have to get the discipline from the people under you. I always see whether I'm following the procedures myself correctly, and whether I'm having that power. Power spoke gave two examples: power to tolerate and power to face. So, am I able to face first that situation myself, and then I can expect the subordinate who can face this situation when I am giving some kind of a discipline order to him or her. I am trying to correct him so that he follows the procedures. So it's a beautiful concept Baba's told us to practice, that according to the time I become embodiment of the power, and then we play the role of a teacher. Uh, Others may also share which are the three philosophies Baba spoke about, other or in other words, other than karma philosophy, which are the two other philosophies which Baba spoke about? One is philosophy of karma, which we all know. There are two new philosophies, to me at least, I have heard for the first time.
Om Shanti, brother. First one
Yeah.
is philosophy of karma. Second one is philosophy of reward. Third one is philosophy of praise and worship.
Fantastic. Very good. So, some reflections on these two philosophies, second and third. Philosophy of reward and how to implement it practically. Then we'll come to philosophy of praise and virtues. Anyone can share who has not spoken first preference. And Pratibha Ben, Om Shanti, are you there? Kartika Ben, Premila Ben, Rachna Ben, Radhamani Ben has spoken. Sridhar Shah Ben, Bharti Ben, and Ami Ben. Sakshi Ben, you may speak on the philosophy of reward. How do you take this philosophy practical form?
I think philosophy of reward means what if we are following a proper procedure. जैसे बाबा कहते हैं संकल्प से सिद्धि. So in that way we can think of that. If we will be following a proper procedure, we will definitely get a reward.
We'll get the success, reward.
Yeah.
Reward, success will be the
Yeah.
reward. We'll get the Siddhi Swarup. Yeah, that's one
Right.
aspect. Very nice. Very nicely put. What about the philosophy of praise and virtues? Anyone? Anyone can speak on this? Girjaben,
I think
any?
when
Yeah, Lady Lady. Yeah,
the virtues is, when you do that, right, your activities, right, there, every deeds, I mean, you'll become a mirror for others to copy, right, for you also.
absolutely.
That's the praise.
Yeah. Yes, I mean
and
they
each
can be
one would
used as
see through
they
that
can be used
mirror.
as detective tools, isn't it? Which is why the
Right.
Jews, uh,
And one another, I mean, in that Murli, Baba said another interesting point, the practical form or the practical stage of the Master Almighty Authority. So they'll have that accurate balance here also, where they would finish their sin account, the account of their sin, and at the same time, they would also finish the wastage. So that's what is the title of that Maharati. I mean, their effort. So
yes.
two things they would do at a time. So there'll be a practical embodiment of that. One side, they would finish all their karmic accounts, and the other side, they would finish all the wastage.
Thanks for bringing that out. That's a very important, very powerful point which has been brought out in today's Murli. That both the accounts get finished, accounts of sin as well as accounts of wastages. And mostly, I think the account of wastages is what troubles us in day-to-day life. Every day, Purusharth, accounts of sin, more or less, they like from Amrit Vela, you are in strong Amrit Vela, and then do the Murli in intoxication, and thereby thereon you take on the role in the world. But the waste of why, what, and how, that is what brings us and it creates new accounts. Whenever the moment we say why or what or how or when, there's a new accounts getting created. And that is where Baba has, I mean, how to finish this account. Baba has brought out some tips, some uh, philosophies or techniques. So someone can churn on this.
Brother, you spoke about reward. Just one sentence you can say. A devotee invokes God and he gets his return immediately. He experiences it now.
Mhm.
But we do now to get the reward later. Our reward is not got now. That's a way Baba explains in the Sakar movies. Worship is what I like. For that, I remember two words: worship worthy and worthy of worship. The meaning of what is worthy of worship, wow, and worship should be clearly understood by a Maharati. So that's a very as deep. We are thinking only karma philosophy is deep, but this worship, worthy and worship, Baba has spoken pujaniya and pujya very beautifully as explained in the Sakar. I just had one question for you in the second Murli. Like, see, you were asking about quality. I think the best quality a teacher should have is love, because love never corrects, love always connects. But why did Baba say you don't have to increase the quantity of teachers? I was just going beyond the sentence. Oh, why is Baba stopping the teacher training program now? Maybe it's something. Just that one when he said, yes, why did he say that don't have to increase the quantity of teachers?
See, I myself right now playing a role of a quality assurance, and I can understand actually the quality which I would reflect here is the quality is like Baba often speaks about mic quality. Or quality is something which actually inspires others to become like that. Become in a perfect manner. And the quality is important because quality will like one soul of quality can transform million souls which are right now not in the quality to become such like that quality soul. So the energy which is radiated by a quality soul is enough to transform the world around that quality soul. So Baba always, that's why if you see in Satyuga, there are only 9 lakh souls in Satyug. So, I mean, that's a quality. Otherwise, there would be, the total souls is around, you can say 800 crores, and out of which only 9 lakhs, the quality souls. These are those quality souls who So, I mean, that's a perspective, and others may also share on that. Quality always speaks about itself. It's the perfection. Sola Kala Sampurn, it's the quality. And Sarvagun, in all good. So, and love is one of the aspect. If you see now, seven virtues, love is one of the aspect. The soul has to be perfect in all the virtues. Uh, can we take on some points on that? I think now it's a time to move on to the meditation. If anyone uh, else doesn't have anything to share now, should we go on to meditation? Yujabin?
Yeah, it's okay. I was just saying, it was such a sentence at the end. Imagine if I am a teacher and I'm sitting there, or I am one of the center in charge.
Mm.
That sentence really would have made us, when just that one sentence, you see, like once, and Baba closes the Murli, you understand. Now you don't have to increase the quantity of teachers. I don't know. I looked as if
Uh,
it was just a sharing, nothing else.
No, no, I can take. Yeah. It's just good that you ask, frankly, such questions, because for the benefit of everyone.
yeah.
Anyone would like to reflect?
Just one point I would like to add. Yeah, like Omba, you rightly said. So here, the quality actually inspires others to follow them. And in that Murli, right, towards the end, Baba said this, and then right on top of it, Baba's talking about being an example, like you do what you say, right? You have to do it first, and rather than telling others to do it, and you are not doing it, that means you are not actually making others to follow you, right? So here we have to do everything first by ourselves and then tell others to do it. So in that context, if we think right, then we become a quality student or quality teacher. So when we do everything accurately according to Srimad and demonstrate everything properly, that's when we become a quality. That's where the quality comes, and there you inspire others to follow you. I mean, that was the reflection that I was getting. Shyam.
Yes. Wonderful sharing. And now we come to the phase of the meditation. So we'll just take a moment of pause and reflect upon both the Murlis, very powerful Murlis. We all seated on the incorporeal stage as a self-sovereign soul, as a Trikaldarshi soul, as a detached observer soul, observing every thought, word, feelings, emotions, and actions, every moment, every aspect, in connection with the Supreme Authority, feeling the Madhuban around me, feeling the presence of the Divine Family around me, with equanimity. Everybody is mine, everyone is mine. We are one family, all in connection with the Supreme Authority. Reflecting on the three philosophies: philosophy of karma, philosophy of reward, and philosophy of praise and virtues. implementing them in every role which I play on this world. Every scene which is coming in front of me is nothing new. In previous kalpa too, I had this scene in front of me. I'm as detached as in the last kalpa. I'm as Trikaldarshi as in the last kalpa, in connection with the Supreme. My every act is a source of income for me. My every thought is a source of income. It's delicious, full of divine virtues. Whoever receives this thought energy gets inspired to become like the Supreme. I take on the form according to the time, according to the situation, according to the souls around me, according to their needs. I am a worthy of worship soul. Om Shanti. So let's conclude the session taking a wonderful homework that today we shall practice the concept of nothing new. The awareness should be as clear as in the previous kalpa, and thereby maintaining a balance between connection and correction, constantly refining myself to be in the elevated degree of refinement. So let's take on this as a homework and see you tomorrow. Thank you, Divine Family. Thank you, Baba. See you tomorrow at 5 a.m. Om Shanti.